Hi, I'm Jessica Osborn, and I'm here with Sarah Bando, who is the founder of the new Australian marketplace specifically for baby and kids gear, and pre-loved baby and kids gear more specifically, which is called Jumping Jack. And we're here to chat today about Sarah's amazing journey into entrepreneurship, because I think she's done something that not many people would have the guts to do in taking on the huge online giants for secondhand marketplaces, eBay, Gumtree, and Facebook. But Sarah is a mum from Melbourne. She is taking on these giants, and I wanted to share her story with you for the inspiration that it brings. She's not only successfully launched a business in a crowded market, but she's also driving to make real change in our lives with innovative services, and also supporting charities and reducing our impact on the environment. So she has some big visions. There's a lot of impact that she's hoping to bring to the world, which is just fantastic. So let's first get Sarah to tell us a bit about what Jumping Jack is all about. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you. So Jumping Jack, as you said, Jess, is an online marketplace. It's set up just for Australian families. So it's primarily here to make life easier for everyday families to buy and sell baby and kids' clothes. And I guess what I've tried to do here is to make it as easy as possible for people trying to sell their items. So I give them a choice of how they want to sell. They can sell it themselves, or they can send it to me and get it sold for them. And when searching for baby clothes to buy, I've set up an online shop that kind of works similar to any other online store that you shop for, to make it, I guess, an easy experience to find the stuff that you're looking for.
Yes.
So, yes. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I think that is probably one of the frustrations that a lot of us have with these, secondhand marketplace sites, is that it is just a dumping ground of so many posts of all sorts of stuff. And even though they have categories, they're just trying to cater to everyone and everything. You can buy a house, I think, on Gumtree, and definitely cars and boats, and then everything down to goodness knows what, like old secondhand furniture and clothes. And it's just, so when you get into clothes, obviously you don't get categories. It's just clothing, no sizing, no age groups, and you're really relying on the users to put that detail in so that you can search for it. But we all know that most people don't, and it just means hours and hours of scrolling through those feeds trying to find something that is relevant. So I totally get that experience. And tell us a bit more about how you came up with the concept for it, for the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess it's, I've always wanted to do something for myself, run my own business. But in particular, I really wanted to do something that I believed in and that I felt could make a difference. So I guess that was a key driver for me all along. But the idea really came about after having my first kid, and I realised just how quickly they grow and outgrow their clothes. And I know so many parents out there can relate to the fact that you have these cute little outfits that may only get worn once or twice before they're outgrown and they're still in great condition. And that was a big frustration for me. I think the clothing sizes, it's like 3 clothing sizes by the time they're 6 months old, and 8 sizes by the time they're 2 years. So it's incredible how fast these little humans grow.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was becoming more aware of the challenges that our environments are facing at the moment, and in particular the impact of fast fashion and textile waste. So that was something I was learning more about, and really wanted to do something to make a difference there.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about what's the impact, like what's actually happening at the moment, because I guess none of us really see it unless we know about this. But when you throw your clothes out into the rubbish, or maybe you send them off to the charity shop thinking they might be able to sell them, but they're really not saleable, I'm sure that they then end up in the rubbish as well. What's happening with all of those clothes? Like, what's the impact on our environment?
It's pretty significant. I think with textile waste, it's the textile industry is the second biggest polluter in the world, second only to oil, which is huge,
Wow.
especially when you think of, sorry, I'm getting home deliveries right now, online shopping, especially when you think of the oil industry, like that's something that you associate with being quite a significant polluter. And the textile industry, I don't think you really always make that link. So when you hear that, it's quite a scary fact. Australians are actually the second largest consumer of textiles in the world as well.
Wow.
So, you know, in the big picture, we do love our clothes, and that can have quite a big impact on the environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's quite a scary thing. But I guess that's why secondhand clothing is so good. And in buying and selling those clothes, it's an easy way to make a real difference. If you give one item of clothing a longer life by, I think it's up to 9 months, it can reduce its carbon, its waste, and its water usage by up to, I think it's 20 to 30% for each of those items.
Yes.
So that's pretty big impact, and it's easy to do it. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting that you can make a change.
Yeah. And, you know, often the secondhand clothing, you don't even realize that it's ever been used by anybody else. I mean, sometimes you see things that are still brand new that, you know, I know my daughter, she's so picky. If I buy something without her approval, it may sit in her cupboard with the tags on still. And I've got brand new clothing then that, you know, if I haven't been quick enough to take it back to the shop, it's just there and it hasn't even been used, which is just so wasteful. So, yes, I'm a huge supporter of the secondhand market, and I think that, you know, one of the things that holds people back is just that it can be just not very easy. It's frustrating. So, tell us a bit more about, I guess, your own experiences and the struggles that you had when you decided, right, I need to do more with my kids' secondhand gear, and you were getting into buying and selling. What were some of those you know, struggles that you experienced with the options that were available at the time?
I think for anyone that's had a little bit of a dabble in buying and selling online, they'd probably relate to this, but this is my experience. I found there's some great buy, swap, sell groups on Facebook that you can snap up some items on, but for me it was endless scrolling and searching for those items, like you mentioned before, and it was really hard to know what you could find and to get those items when you needed them. And I think there's obviously some huge global platforms out there like eBay and Gumtree, but for me, I think shopping on those, they were very busy. It was really hard to drill down to find what I was wanting. It didn't feel very personal. There was ads everywhere. And I just found it a little bit too stressful and not really sure where to look. But then there's also that factor of having to hand over some cash to somebody, which didn't always sit well with me. So a bit of a security concern for me, I guess. And when you're selling, it's a whole new challenge. So you've got things like haggling and no-shows. You've got people messaging you back and forth, so it can be quite time consuming and a little bit stressful as well. So that was something that I thought, this isn't really working for me, and I really wanted to try and find a way through that to make it simple and straightforward for other people. Yeah,
that's awesome. So tell us about what features were most important to you when you were designing Jumping Jack. Like, how are you solving those problems?
I guess for me, the key thing was making it easier for other families. So, I'm a mum of 2 kids. I know how busy parents are. And when you're wanting to buy and sell clothes, you just need to get on with it and not have to worry about all the other stresses that might come with that process. So making it clear and simple was, I guess, the key point. But also having a really local community feel was something that was really important to me. So it's made by a mum, it's for mums and dads. And I think that at the end of the day, you've got the support that you need if you come across any challenges, and also you're working with a platform that truly wants to give your clothes a new life, and we really genuinely care about the experience of the customers and want to make that a better process for them. So that was something that was really important to me. And I guess the other key things, like just the ease of use and the security as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think that it being local and it being a business that is run by a real person who, is local, it's local families using it. I think when I go onto eBay, half the stuff on there is coming from overseas. You don't know where they are. I guess there's the secondhand things mixed in with, random shops probably from China and wherever else. And it is just a bit of a catch-all for anything these days, and with Gumtree, that's usually locals are using it, but it's so full of ads. I'm just finding there's ads in all of the places, in the feed, all around it. And also, if you do need that support, like you said, there isn't really anybody that you can pick up the phone and talk to, or get a message back from. So, yeah, I love the fact that you're building a community of other Australian families who share the same vision, the same dream, and the same wants, and that that you sort of growing this following in Australia. That's fantastic to hear.
I think the fact that it's made just for kids as well is something that really helps keep it simple, and you know what you're coming for, and it's makes it an easier process for them.
Yes, and that's a big differentiator, I think, from your marketplace and the other ones, is that you are specifically just for kids, baby and kids clothes, and maternity as well, right?
Yes.
So it is a very specific one, which means that you are going to find hopefully what you're looking for on it, because the more listings that you have with all of those clothes there, that's what it's all about. So that's a really great point of difference. And do you have any other, I guess, features that you might have developed to be a point of difference against the big retail marketplaces?
Well, from a buying perspective, I've spent a lot of time thinking about what makes it easier for finding your items. And being a bit of an online shopper myself, I love being able to go on there and filter and search and just drill down to what I need. So I've set that up on this on Jumping Jack, so you can filter by size, age, brand, whatever criteria you're looking for, and also have a search by location. So if there's people nearby you that you want to connect with and see what items they've got for sale, then there's that feature as well. And I think that really breaks it down to just help you find what clothes you're after. But also the shop items have some really key information in there that helps you understand what the clothing is, every detail that you need to know, that I find is often missing in some of the other ads that you might come across. I know I've spoken to you about those in the past, that they're sometimes frustrating. You don't know what you're buying, so try to work a way through solving that problem. And from a seller point of view, I've set up a sell form that really helps walk them through all the key information that's required. And you can have your own shop page, so people can just search for your items, which is very cool. And also our new exciting service where we can sell your clothes for you, because that's a really important factor when it comes to selling your stuff, is that you just might not have the time. So that's where we come in.
Yes, yeah. So tell us a bit more about this one, because this is something that I haven't ever heard of before. What is it that you are now offering?
Well, it's our very exciting new service. It's called the Clean Out Bag. It's very new. It's only been open for a few weeks now. But essentially it is where, it's for all those busy families out there that have boxes of clothes just taking up space in the house, like many of us. And you might not have the time to actually, might not have the time to sort through and list and sell those clothes. So what you can do is package them up and post them to me and get them sold on your behalf. And
Yeah.
basically,
Wow.
when it sells, it just gets paid into your account or to your nominated charity if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah. Wow, that is, I think that just takes away the biggest barrier that I definitely have myself, where I think I've got boxes and boxes of clothes, and you think, oh, I've probably got some that I'm going to give to some friends or what have you, but there's probably some items that you do want to sell, and it's just getting around to doing it, and they will sit there for such a long time that you're taking that whole pain away. All you've got to do is get them and take them to the post office and get them to you. So
yeah,
that is, amazing. And have you had, since you've only just launched it, obviously it's still very new and you're getting the word out there, but how is that being received in the market?
Yeah, really, really, really good. We've had quite a few people sign up already. A few clean out bags have arrived and they're amazing. So far so good. It's just, it's taken off. I think it's what people have been searching for all this time, which is wonderful. So I'm really excited to be able to help out. And I think it's also really rewarding to have a service that can actually help take some of the stress out of the daily life of families, which, I love.
Yeah. And I think, one of the other stresses, obviously, when you're a seller or even a buyer, is that whole money changing hand process.
Yes.
And, I think what's interesting to me is that with your site being set up as a shop, that does the seller get the money instantly, like someone chooses to buy it? Obviously, they've got all that information there in the listing that you just described. So that's good because there won't be so much going back and forward and asking questions. You think they should have everything they need to know about it right there on the website. So a little bit of time up front to create the listing saves a lot of time of going back and forward and answering messages from people. And then, tell me about the payment process. So how does that work?
It's all set up very securely through PayPal. So that was really important feature when I wanted to set up. So as soon as the seller sells one of their listings, it gets paid into their PayPal account within the hour. So
Wow.
pretty much immediately, and you don't have to worry about any of those no-shows and so forth. So
yes, or leaving money in an envelope somewhere outside your house or in the letterbox. Yeah,
not under the doormat or anything. So it really helps take that stress factor out of it. For the clean out bag items, because they're being sold slightly differently, they get paid within 30 days of the month, and that their items are sold, but into their PayPal account again. So it's all very safe and easy.
Yeah, fantastic. That just sounds like such a game changer, really, to help people, actually get some money for their clothes as well. Because I think that you probably hold on to things for so long that you end up thinking, oh, stuff it. I'm giving it away, or I'm sending it to the charity shop, or, you're even taking it to the clothing bin and just throwing it all in there just because it becomes too big a problem to tackle. But I think that you having this service where, we can send those amazing kids stuff that they've, worn once and never worn again, send them over to you and you'll actually list them and sell them on our behalf. That is just awesome. It blows me away. Such an innovative idea.
What I love about it is that it really helps give their second clothes a new life, and a lot of those little tiny baby items are quite sentimental to us as well. They were for me, and it's really special to see and to know that they're going out to somebody who's going to love them and get as much joy out of them as you did. So it's nice to see that they can continue on and have a new life with another family. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, I think, talking about your business, because had you had any experience in online business before or in technology? Because you've got so much technology that's sitting behind this marketplace. Tell me about your experience in setting up this business and the tech, and what some of your biggest learnings have been.
Well, I've got no experience, none. So it's been a huge learning curve. I guess my biggest learning is that technology is temperamental, very much. And I guess the the key is probably just to continually look for ways to improve that process. So I find, you have to have the end goal in mind of what you want it to look like, and then just break it down and work towards each step slowly. Otherwise, you wouldn't never get there.
Yeah.
It was a long process to set up the functions of this business as it is, because turns out it's quite a complex setup with all the different, it's a multi-vendor platform, and it's quite a complicated system. So it was quite a long build, and to get it to this point, I just had to, choose the key functions that I wanted in place as a starting point, and then just keep chipping away and working towards the rest as it's up and running.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've loved seeing the process where you've been launching your new clean out bag service, and really I'm seeing such a shift in your approach, because you're literally like, okay, I'll figure out how I think it'll work, I'll put it up there, and then we'll adapt it and test it in the live format, and I think that that's such an important one for business owners and entrepreneurs to really think it doesn't matter if it's not perfect on day one. What you see is not perfect. Other people probably aren't seeing the errors, or if there's anything that's not perfect in it, but it gives you that chance to actually test it with your actual audience and get that live feedback of, what's clear to them, what information they need, or what's maybe not clear and that you need to work on or improve on the experience. So that's been really cool to see, because I think that it meant you could get it up and running and launched a lot faster.
Yeah. And I think you can, like you said, work through some of the kinks that are in place a lot quicker than you would otherwise, because you get real people actually using it and interacting with it. And without that, you just can't figure out what possible things might not be perfect or what things are working really well. So it certainly works a lot better and a lot quicker. I hope people are patient with the process, but it's all good.
I don't think anybody on the outside sees any of the kinks or anything. It's when you're on the inside, you see it all. But from the external perspective, it looked professional right from day one. So it's just a different way of thinking about when you're developing new services or technology, that definitely getting it so it's working and getting it out there faster is such a good way to do it, because you can move quickly and you're agile enough to adapt as you go. I guess the one last question I had for you was what advice you would give to other mums who are thinking of starting a business that they can run from home, because I know that you've got 2 young kids at home, and how's that experience been for you?
Tough one. I guess just have a go. You've got nothing to lose, and just see where it takes you. Be prepared perhaps to work around other schedules, such as your kids' schedules. So it might mean sort of late night working and weekend working, but it's all worth it in the end, because it does mean you get to have a little bit more control over how you want to manage it and how you want to work. But also, launching the business is just the beginning. I guess having 2 years in the making after actually getting the website up to scratch to launch, I thought that was a big journey, but it was only just the start of it. And you really start to learn once you've launched a business. So be prepared for that. And most importantly, I think, is to surround yourself with people who are going through the similar type of thing. So like-minded women in business, and I guess that will understand and share their experiences, and also help you celebrate your wins as well. It's pretty rewarding. So that would be a key thing from my point of view.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's the thing is often the launch is such a major milestone that we do focus so much energy on it. And when you get there and you do it, it's amazing. But it is just the start of the journey. And, having a business is an ongoing thing that you're now going to be on this journey, and it's going to have highs and lows and curves and straights and everything in between. But yeah, that's such a good thing to remember, and that, you know, you don't have to stress out about the launch so much, because it is really just that first step, and nobody knows about you when you're doing your launch. You actually will build a lot more recognition and awareness once you are up and running. So yeah, that's really good. And what else would you think, if you had one bit of advice you would give to your past self, what might that be?
My past self.
Yeah. If you were to do this again, or you would go back in time and see yourself, what might you say?
I guess from my perspective, one of the things that I've struggled with and always struggle with is probably to do with my self-confidence. And one thing I found through launching the business is that there's nothing like putting yourself out there in a very public and vulnerable way that really forces you to face those fears and just carry on. So my advice to my past self would be just to turn up every day and just give it a go. And you know, there's all these curveballs that keep coming at you that you just don't see coming, and if you just keep working through them every day, then they suddenly just disappear and you know, on to the next one. So yeah, just keep going.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think that is a massive fear of a lot of people, is showing up and putting yourself out there. And, you know, when you do it, so, you know, once you came over that hurdle, what would you think, it's scary now, or do you feel a lot more comfortable that it's actually not such a big deal?
It's not scary looking back at all. And obviously new challenges are scary, and you know, you just got to work through them. But looking back, it's amazing how far you come in such a short time, and what seemed such a big deal then was you know, just part of day-to-day work. And yeah, it's a funny journey, but certainly a good one.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Sarah. It's been such a pleasure working with you and helping you to bring your vision into reality and make that a real business, and then to continue to support you as well to grow it. Do you have anything, so if someone wants to find out some more about Jumping Jack and what you do, can you tell us how they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they wanted to have a look on the website and have a go at buying and selling, they can go to www.jumpingjack.com.au, or they can find us on Facebook and Instagram with the handle @jumpingjackau.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
It's been amazing, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.